Steve Jobs, Elon Musk, Warren Buffett, Bill Gates, Ted Turner. Success leaves clues, kids. I just named 5 of the greatest names in business in the last 150 years. And they all have one thing in common. They're ball busters. They're hard as nails. Where does that leave you? I still work 50, 60 hours a week. And I haven't had to work in 35 years. You're not willing to do anything. You're not willing to sacrifice anything to be a high-performance person.
I don't want to be like Dad.
No, most people don't.
I want to be liked.
Yeah, well, see, you want to fit in. I'm the only speaker that you're ever going to hear that really, with all his heart, doesn't give a shit. If I leave here you liking me, I did something wrong.
They see 30 seconds. They didn't see 10,000 hours.
Anyone can sail on smooth waters. Anyone can dance when the music is playing.
So is it just a run in the rain? You tell me.
Remind yourself of what that door opening is going to feel like.
So I have dreams. Compulsions to be legendary, evolving from the imaginary, and it's near and it's real. I can see. In due time, we realize that real life is defined by our own eyes. And I have blueprints to the skyline. It's just reality is built methodically. And overnight success, you would never guess, takes a long time. You have to cut lifelines and navigate landmines. But it's your move on your cue. Just decide. So I sat there, thought about it. How long am I gonna go on about it? Put my shoes on, I said so long, and went outside. Right through the field I used to run by, where the rows of sunflowers waist high, but it was different than what I envisioned. There weren't any road signs or guidelines or letters that said it's all just fine. It was just me adjusting as I made my way to the sunrise. Then I paused. On the ground below me was a little door. I knocked slowly, was pretty scared, maybe ill-prepared, but we get one life only. So I opened the hatch, looked down, and it's pitch black, no sound. And if you don't choose any road will do. I've been riding logistical merry-go-rounds and my eyes are wide. Restless soul with scores to settle from years ago. I know that there's more cause I told me so. I'm going down the rabbit hole and there's not a way out. The chips fall, I'm all in. Now my prospects are in lockstep and each step is a shakedown. I got a coat of armor, sword of steel, call to arms cause the threat's real. And see, crowns are made on battlefields. So your majesty, no, I will never kneel. Time to face fear right front center. Watch doubts fall like it's November. Got a treasure map in my backpack. It says life's golden. What a pleasure. Been round and round and free falling now. Cause there's ghost schools and there's goblins out. Are you leaving us? They call me treasonous. Think that you're dangerous. You must be delirious. Just in the guns fire and the trumpets start and the ground trembles from the steady march. And it looks bad cause their deck's stacked. But my king beats a queen of hearts. They're trying to win in spades so I set fires with the kind of flames that forge empires. And like a hurricane, but I'm a tad insane. Cat 5, Cheshire. Right around we go. The next episode under the second story. So look out below. Collect haters' tears that makes a steady flow. And the greatest fear is I told you so. I know it though. There's no impossible. You can watch it pass. You can watch it grow. Be more powerful than you will ever know. I'm going down the rabbit hole.
Be the kind of trader who sees the big picture. The world is changing around you. Global threats push gold, the safe haven asset, to higher prices each and every day. Now's your chance to start trading gold. Just go to capex.com and register to get up to a $5,000 bonus on your first deposit. Simply use GOLD5000 as a promo code and you're good to go. capex.com proudly welcomes you to the next level trading experience. Register now and start taking full advantage of the new gold rush. Terms and conditions apply. Exposure to gold obtained via contracts for difference, which are leveraged products and incur a high level of risk. Capex.com is operated by JME Financial Services, Pty Ltd, an authorized financial services provider. Be the kind.
The champ is here! 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 Good afternoon and welcome to Bull Market Stock Show. This is your host Rian Hobson, and we're doing a bit of the Nasdaq today, of the market, as I must say. It's all in the red today. The Nasdaq is actually going down. The dollar is up, which I'm happy for. I'm a bit of a conservative trader, as you guys know, but the Nasdaq is actually down by 1.16%. The VIX is up by 2.8%, which shows that there's a risk. S&P 500 is also down. This is now pre-trade of the US market, 1.32, and then you have the Nasdaq down at 1.71. Also, the FTSE, the London exchange, is actually down. The DAX is down by 3%, and I will talk about that because that news was breaking out from Germany that they're closing down the bars and the restaurants in Germany to slow down the whole COVID story. But there's also some other news that came through. It's quite a lot. The World Health Organization also released a statement today, which is a bit damning, and I think the market will actually go down because of that. They cooked up some evidence there. You know, these guys are just flip-flopping every single day. And then you have the French CAC that is also down by nearly 3%. Italian stocks are down, and the whole entire European stocks and the London stocks are down. And this is all because of the COVID, of the second wave, which I did yesterday with the show, the second wave, where I actually said that I personally feel that the Europeans, or I would say the Northern Hemisphere, especially the Europeans and the people from the United States or the United States government, basically has the upper hand when it comes to COVID, because most people are just concentrating on the cases. And this is a show that I made yesterday. Most people are concentrating on the cases, but not the death rate. And just to remind you of yesterday's show, look, it is impossible that someone will never get sick. People get sick all the time. The thing is what is the treatments available and what is the success rate of the treatments? That is what I'm concentrating on, because you will get sick. It is impossible that you will not get sick. So you will get sick. The thing is there a treatment available and what is success rate? All European countries, or the European countries that I spoke about yesterday, which is France, Germany, Sweden, Italy, Spain, the United States, which is now obviously in America, Canada, they all had, all of them has a success rate of over 90%. So your chances when you get infected with this disease, your chances of dying is very low. Yes, I understand as well about the demographic problem in these countries in the Northern Hemisphere where there's a lot of old people. But I must say, the Swedes, the Spaniards, and also the Italians, they did a remarkable job by stopping the virus from going to the old age home. I'm not saying they totally stop it. It is impossible to stop a virus that you can't see totally from going to the old age home or infecting old people. But in Sweden, even though the infection rates jumped actually quite high, the death rate was 1. The same applies to Germany. It was about 20 or so. So the success, yes, I know people are dying, but people die every single day. And like the same in South Africa, there was about 40 people that passed away yesterday. Today is also the same, about 40 people passed away. Yesterday was, and the day before was 40. On average, it's about 40, 30 there around. Now, the taxi industry in South Africa, the minibus taxi industry in South Africa, kills about 43 people, between 36 and 43 people per day. So why don't you stop the taxis from operating if you're afraid of people are dying? So I just don't understand the World Health Organization, which I will actually explain a bit on that. I will also do the Biden victory and also the Trump victory, because this is affecting the Nasdaq, and which is obviously traders' favorite thing is the Nasdaq, and also the Dow Jones and the S&P 500. Also your big equities, European equities, that is also important. The other thing also that goes down today, it is your commodities. Oil was earlier. Oil is now sitting on $37 a barrel, and then you have Brent that is sitting on 39, so it's actually going down. Also natural gas is about $3. Then you have gold that is below the 19,000 mark. It's sitting on 1895, so it's really a painful day for the market, and I think it will actually go on like this, because there's two factors that hits the market. It's one, it is the COVID story, and then two, it is the uncertainty regarding the U.S. election, because some polls are showing Joe Biden is in the driving seat. Some polls shows Trump is in the driving seat, and I must say Trump is really touring United States the day by day all over the show. He was in Pennsylvania now the other day, and then I saw he was in Michigan, then he's in Florida. That guy is pushing it really hard for a guy that's over 70 years of age, with all the traveling that goes on. I must say, it's some big respect there for the President of the United States, that's really working through the night to get his support and wants to win the second term for United States. I think it really shows that he's really putting in the effort, because if Joe Biden win the election in the United States, there will be some serious trouble. So I will also explain the consequences of a Joe Biden victory, and also the consequences of a Trump victory. And then the big story also, it is Germany that closed down the bars and the pubs. So there is no October festival, the beer festival in Germany, just for COVID. I mean, that is a bit ridiculous. But the uncertainty in the market will be there. So if you guys want to have a safety net, because the problem is with a lot of trades, you don't know when to buy or sell, because obviously there's uncertainty. It doesn't mean the market, the market will go down straight away, or the Nasdaq will go down every single time. The thing is that, or every single day. The thing is, the Nasdaq will go down. That I can assure you. The Nasdaq will go down, but it will not go down to the extent of the Dow and the S&P 500. Like maybe the Dow will maybe go down for 3% or so, or 405, maybe 800 points it will go down, but the Nasdaq will be a bit softer. It will be a bit softer, because your internet is still there. It's just that your industrial stocks is more reliant on your oil, your gold, your commodities, and those type of things. But your tech companies are more reliant on the fourth industrial revolution, I would say, with your internet. Yes, there's still manufacturing that goes on with your tech companies, which is now your Tesla and those companies, iPhone and them. So obviously it do affect them, but I must say, iPhone specifically, or Mac, they actually are more now service orientated, and not so much on the production side of their cell phones and tablets and computers. So I must say the tech companies are really doing exceptionally well with this whole COVID story, and also with the U.S. elections. But there is pressure. There will be downward pressure on the Nasdaq, because there is still the possibility of the U.S. election, which way it can go. So that's why the Nasdaq will go down. The Nasdaq is not so much affected by COVID. That I can assure you. It's not affected much by COVID, because if everybody goes back into a lockdown again, which the World Health Organization was releasing a statement by saying that, which is a bit ridiculous. I will go on with that. But the Nasdaq will not get affected by a next lockdown. Although the possibility look like a hard lockdown, it will come, especially in the European countries, and maybe in the United States. It depends who wins. But the Nasdaq will still go up if it goes to a lockdown. The problem is the U.S. elections that affects the Nasdaq, and I will explain that how the U.S. elections affect the Nasdaq, because there's a lot of variables that goes with it. So I will just take a short break, Then I'll be back with some more information with the Nasdaq and also some other stocks. The champ is here! 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 The champ is here!
Greatness is not this wonderful, esoteric, elusive, God-like feature that only the special among us will ever taste. You know, it's something that truly exists in all of us. It's very simple. This is what I believe, and I'm willing to die for it. Period.
I came from the bottom, but I'm coming to the top. Like the test of your will, how much faith do you got? Your foot's on the line, will you ever take a shot and score the game? Winning points when it's zeros to clock. I've came to find that life's a test, there's no cheating either. Just work and stress, if no money's provided, you're eating less. Bills on the table and pain in your chest. You promise you'll pay for the things that you can't. You want the whole world, but it's burning in your hands. You ask for help, no one hears you in the stands. A crowd full of friends you can never call fam. They love you then, but they don't love you now. Your whole life seems to be crashing down. You never feel safe when there's no one around. So if you feel like giving up, you gotta stand your ground. No one else can ever try to tell you otherwise. So stop trying to be just like them other guys. Fake the haters who live in to see you feeling life. And fuck the coaches who judge it cause of the shape of size. If you ever wanna make it, you gotta show effort and show dedication and crave it like basically nothing else matters but getting that paper and that education. Just take it from me. I ain't doing this shit. The rap with a mouth full of gold teeth. That'll show the whole world that my chain ain't soldiers. Let the world know I'm an OG. No, I do this for my fam, for my city, and for me. Cause honestly, I throw a middle finger up to those who don't. So when you want it, get it, don't ever give up. You got it. You wanna make it, then chase it. No one can stop you, they're gonna hate you, but let them hate you, that's fine, cause if they stand in your way, then you gotta leave them behind, but if you want it, get it, don't ever give up, you got it, you wanna make it, then chase it, no one can stop you, they're gonna hate you, but let them hate you, that's fine, cause if they stand in your way, then you gotta leave them behind. People will always try to bring you down, but that's a part of life. Imaginary action when they see your name up in the lights. Ignore the gossip and nonsense you're hearing on the daily, cause if it gets to your head, then you'll only end up failing. Just be the best that you can. Only those who love you will be there in the end. Stick with those in your defense and leave alone your phony friends. Stay on track, don't fall behind. Either chase your goals or fall in line. Bullshitting's only a waste of your time, so go with your gut and stay on your grind. I wanna wake up the world. Someone's gotta hear my message. This is food for your thought. Take it as easy ingestion. I won't leave you in question, just a lasting impression. I'm trying to speak the truth, so take heed to my lessons. This is honestly the most honest things I've said in a while. In life you'll always be judged, eternal circles of trials. Just keep your head up and never ever fall to denial. You're finally on the clock, meaning your time is now. If you want it, get it, don't ever give up. You got it, you wanna make it, then chase it. No one can stop you, they're gonna hate you, but let them hate you, that's fine, cause if they stand in your way, then you gotta leave them behind, but if you want it, get it, don't ever give up, you got it, you wanna make it, then chase it, no one can stop you, they're gonna hate you, but let them hate you, that's fine, cause if they stand in your way, then you gotta leave them behind.
Be the kind of trader who sees the big picture. The world is changing around you. Global threats push gold, the safe haven asset, to higher prices each and every day. Now's your chance to start trading gold. Just go to capex.com and register to get up to a $5,000 bonus on your first deposit. Simply use GOLD5000 as a promo code and you're good to go. Capex.com proudly welcomes you to the next level trading experience. Register now and start taking full advantage of the new gold rush. Terms and conditions apply. Exposure to gold obtained via contracts for difference, which are leveraged products and incur a high level of risk. Capex.com is operated by JME Financial Services, Pty Ltd, an authorized financial services provider.
Good afternoon and welcome to Bull Market Stock Show. This is your host, Rian Hobson, and we're doing the Nasdaq today. But I will just actually share you something that actually came through about the World Health Organization. Now, as I said before we go to the break, the COVID and the lockdown story, I will not say COVID, I will say the lockdown, the regulations of the World Health Organizations and the regulations of the different governments is literally the problem for not just for people, but for the stock market as well. And a lot of people will just go into dire poverty if we do this again. Now, the Health Organization released actually a statement. Now, it doesn't affect the Nasdaq as much, the lockdowns and the regulations and all of those nonsense, because obviously the companies like your Amazons in South Africa, we have Take-A-Lot and also various other online businesses, and even me myself with the podcasting, we actually benefit out of this if there comes a hard lockdown. But personally, I don't want to see actually a hard lockdown. The money would be good for a hard lockdown. A lot of people tune in. I will get a lot of ad revenues and all of those things. But in the reality is that people need to go to work to pay for these services. So at some point, people's money will dry up. Maybe because people are at home for that week or so, or maybe a month, they have some extra cash and they give it and they pay for my services. The problem is the money will burn out. And at the end, we will see a catastrophe in South Africa and across the world. People burning stuff. You may lead, it can actually lead maybe to civil war or civil unrest in South Africa or other parts of the world. It's really ludicrous what is going on with the World Health Organization. But just to go to the statement that they released, this was, you know who the hell released these statements, Dr. Michael J. Ryan, he's the executive director, and then the World Health Organization director, Dr. Bloody Tedros. So this article was actually released by the Business Insider in the United States, and it goes as follows. So I'm just reading what the article is saying. There was also an article with the same story. So I did two articles with the same story. So I can assume that is actually, I assume now that is actually correct. But it goes as follows. As COVID-19 cases surges across the World Health Organization has warned that countries may need to impose stricter lockdown measures to get the virus under control. Well behind this virus, Dr. Mike Ryan, a World Health Organization official, said, adding that controlling the virus may require a sacrifice for many people in terms of their personal lives. Non-essential business may have to shut down again to take the heat out of the stage of the pandemic, Ryan said. The World Health Organization also warned the virus is beginning to leak into older and more vulnerable populations. The average age of those infected is beginning to creep up, it warned. This is now Dr. Tedros and also Mike Ryan that actually was using these words. Now, the thing is, what I don't understand, there was the first wave and there was a lockdown, which we all experienced in March, April. In South Africa, it was terrible. You can't buy open shoes. You can't buy shorts. Look, the laws regarding the lockdowns was insane. It was insane. People were complaining, we don't know what to do. You can't buy this. You can't do that. You can't drink. You can't smoke. That was just in South Africa. I'm sure other parts of the world also suffered the same consequences. Maybe not alcohol and cigarettes, but obviously you can see the protesting across the globe. It literally shows that people are totally fed up. The regulations when it gets to the lockdown is insane. Now, they did have the lockdown in the first wave of COVID. Everybody experienced, or most parts of the world actually went into a hard lockdown. Now, after they released the lockdown or release us out of jail, the virus actually flare up again. Now, if you lock it up again, the virus will come again unless we get a vaccine. Now, the problem with a vaccine is that it can take years to get it right. So, which means every single time we need to go into a lockdown and then we're going to get out and then back into a lockdown. Look, we are not children. I don't understand. You see, Dr. Tedros, since he arrived at the World Health Organization, was just an absolute mess. It's a disaster. And I think the global economy must start to defund the World Health Organization until they remove Dr. Tedros, because Dr. Tedros and Dr. Mike Ryan is literally messing up the reputation of the World Health Organization. It is absolutely sick what is going on there. Absolutely sick. Because the treatments, the probability, as I just say, of people dying of COVID is literally zero. I would understand if it were hitting hard on children. Yes, it's hitting hard on our senior citizens. But as they say, the treatments are actually working, especially in the United States. And people will get infected, whether we like it or not, it will happen. Now, to lock up an economy and to trash out the virus, or try and get the virus out, it did not work in the first lockdown. Obviously, it will not work in the second lockdown. The problem that we did experience with the hard lockdown in the first instance is that the as they call it, the poverty rate or the hunger rate, kids that are hungry and families and people across the world that are hungry, increased by 100 million people. 100 million people. That is an estimation. They said it could be more. Now, how can people be so stupid? Can't they see what is the consequences of a lockdown? Didn't they learn anything? It did not work. The lockdown did not work. It's very simple. We need to get accustomed. That's why Donald Trump is saying, listen here, we need to go on with our lives. There's nothing that we can do. Yes, it's painful because some people will die of it. But the thing is, we need to move on. There's nothing, the world can't stand still. Kids' education can't sit still. Now, you and I that trade the Nasdaq can obviously make money of this. Obviously, there will be a sharp increase in the Nasdaq, but definitely not in the Dow Jones, because that is where the industrial stocks are. So it will definitely not increase there. I think also gold will definitely go down. Your commodities, I can say entirely, it will actually go down. But I honestly doubt that the Nasdaq will go down. The only thing that will literally put the Nasdaq down, or is currently putting the Nasdaq down, is actually the US elections. That's it. Because of the uncertainty. Now, to stay with the US elections, the problem goes on with Joe Biden and Donald Trump, and that is where it comes in with their economic policies. Now, Joe Biden, in this instance, he wants to increase the taxes on people. Now, look, the current tax rate in the United States for corporates is about 22%. He brought it down, I think it was about 29%, and he brought it down to 22%. People's wages were increasing, and it was a notable increase. It's not the Barack Obama's increases with a 0.1% like that. It was a notable increase in people's wages, also people's bonuses. Money were coming back into the United States because you're paying less tax. Stock markets went up. People's pension funds increased because of the performance of the Nasdaq, not of the Nasdaq, but of the stock market, because of lower taxes. Capital gains were slashed. Now, that was under Trump, and Trump is actually promising more cuts in regulation, more actually tax cuts. Now, Joe Biden wants to end the industrial side of the United States, which is now the oil drilling, the fracking of the United States, which Trump literally invested heavily in, and deregulate that part of the economy. Basically, he just deregulated actually the economy, or I would say the fracking side, because literally Barack Obama finished that part because they want to go with the green energy. The world can't move so quickly. From one, you're using oil, most people are using oil cars, and now all of a sudden you want to stop that and say that you will finish the oil industry by 2030. The US will be carbon free by 2050. Who the hell are you to decide that? Let people make the choice. They said in the 2012 the whole world will blow up, will be underwater. It did not happen. These environmentalist people are literally making the policies up for Joe Biden. And if he wins, there's numerous amount of articles that actually stated that people will withdraw their money out because the rich will definitely not invest in the United States if that happens. If he increased the taxes to about 30%, people's going to take their money. The industrialists is going to take their money. The people that are in the tech companies, which is now the Facebooks, the iPhones, Teslas, and all of them, will definitely take their money out of the country. They will look for other havens to store their money. It's very simple. In South Africa, it's happening. They're taxing the people to death in South Africa. And what is happening? People are storing their money outside of the country. As simple as that. So if you really want to kill the economy on a recession, the economy is doing absolutely well without the stimulus. Jobs are still creating, still get created. The job claims in the United States are going down. Wages are actually increasing in the United States. Yes, there's still a lot of work that needs to be done. But I mean, from where the United States were, approximately 22 million job losses, they actually slashed in half in a few months. It's a remarkable achievement without actually this new second stimulus. They did it well. If Joe Biden comes in, he's going to increase the taxes, exactly what happened in the Great Depression in 1930. They increased the taxes, regulated the economy, started this New Deal story with what the guy's name, the president of the United States in the 1930s after Hoover. So they actually did FDR. FDR regulated the economy. The economy was dead. The thing that saved the United States economy was actually the Second World War. It was not the New Deal, because not once under his reign the unemployment rate dropped below 10%. Not once. It was for the Second World War that dropped the unemployment rate to single digits. And here Joe Biden comes again with the same story, what Roosevelt did, which he did not learn from the U.S. history. There's so much history in the United States of how you need to deal with a crisis. You had the situation also, which is known as the forgotten depression, which was done by Warren Harding in the 1920s. And there was also a virus. He did not lock up the economy. On the second phase, he did not stimulate the economy. What he did is pay back the debt and deregulate the economy, and there the economy actually grew on itself. What actually happened? The unemployment rate dropped to 2% in the United States by 1923. There's so much evidence with this. But some dumb Joe Biden theory that he wants money for this green thing, regulate the economy, take out the oil industry, the fossil fuels, regulate the economy, open up the borders to China, it's madness. It's absolute madness. Where it's a very simple theory. You just deregulate the economy, you cut the taxes, voila, there you get it. It's so simple. And Trump is on the right path, but the thing is, people are so hyped up with the emotions that they can't think. There is so much history in the United States. They just have to go to the library, or you don't even have to go to the library. You just can open up your computer and see what happened in 1920 Depression. See what happened in the Great Depression in the 1930s. It's very simple. Check the economic policies from Robert Hoover and also from FDR and Warren Harding. It's so simple. And see what they did that time. They deregulate the economy. Not FDR. That idiot, he actually regulated the economy. So if Joe Biden wins, which the polls is showing, some of the polls are showing he will win, the economy will be finished. And that is the only thing that keeps the Nasdaq down. Because believe me, the guys in Silicon Valley will definitely not like a Joe Biden victory. Because obviously, he's going to also fund the World Health Organization, and which Trump actually went out of the World Health Organization because of the idiot that is sitting there, Dr. Tedros. Even though he's an African, but if you are an idiot, you are an idiot. Simple as that. It's nothing to do with race here. And if you're an idiot, you are plain and simple an idiot. I will just take a short break and then I'll be back with you with some more information.
The champ is here! 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 The champ.
Look, I'm exhausted. Had it all figured out and I lost it. They say that's the cost, but it just feels like a lot. Stop, are you going or not? I miss certainty. Miss the 9 to 5s, knowing exactly where I need to be and why I'm not built for this. Progress moves in slow motion. They're out making money and getting promotions, saying all the right things, pulling all the right levers. While I sit here, write my future self love letters. Who's winning? Is this the end or beginning? 'Cause I'm starting to feel like reality's slipping, and bank accounts, they aren't very forgiving, and life on edge feels like falling, not living. If effort brings victory, what am I missing? Nothing good comes easy. When we have to, we push through, not knowing completely. You're here because you're made for this next level, taking these places that most people won't. Start embracing it. Who cares what they do? They're not you. You'll go through more now than you think you're supposed to, but that shows you can cope with the highs and the lows, because you rose to be more. Could have run away, could have avoided the thorns, could have been comfortable. Blood, sweat, and tears, they're expendable. No more pretending, man, build something memorable. Don't drink from their cup or by stories they tell, because when all their time's up, you'll have dug your own well. You did it. Use lifelines, you're topped off for a lifetime. So drop all those one-liners, we'll get them next time. No, this time is your time, and whatever you decide will end up being real life. No stop signs, just storylines. This whole thing is a misunderstanding, a miscalculation. Jumped and missed the landing. I'm mystified, I can waste so much time. These ovations are strictly imagination, not standing. So much for planning, guess fate left without me. Those failure statistics, yeah, they'll be about me. Was overly optimistic, forgot the logistics. Guess we all learn sometime, don't we? Good is not good enough. No, how long do I stay down before I let go? I buried my pride and took it inside, but never enough. It takes a toll, it gets old getting told you've got miles of road left to go. You're alone with this future unknown. Just go home. Just go home, it's safe there. Yeah, I'll find some embrace there. Look, it's time to admit defeat. A humble retreat, check the box and complete to my core. Intrinsically, it's not for me, I can't do this. I knew this is how it would be. No fame, no fortune, no names on marquees, just running in place every day on repeat. This is the world I want to see, where everything's taken with no guarantees. No. Come on, man, pick your head up. Go back inside, half a life's learning to get up. How can I make you see that you have everything you need, and what you want to be is never out of reach? Fate deceives sometimes, but destiny's calling, so can't let the phone ring. You know there's no all-knowing. Go level up, no letdowns. Let the world in, push fear out. It's self-belief, it starts right now. When hell freezes, you lay down. But until then, it's your town, it's your story, it's your crown. Live in the clouds, feet on the ground. They stand still, you run around. Go mesmerize, where they socialize. There's dollar signs to be maximized. If you live it right, regret nothing. Loud applause, the sweetest sound, and this moment won't happen again, and never becomes forever unless you choose to begin. So see greatness in each step, and power and progress. Your future, yeah, that's limitless, it's infinite. Don't forget you want this.
Getting your business funded is a lengthy process with the banks, and it can take weeks before getting an answer. ProfitFX works with the best in the finance industry to bring you an unrivaled business funding solution for South African businesses. Our funding partners have funded millions in the last year in support of growing your business and our economy. Get in touch with your talk show host to request more information. A trade history of 3 years or more and an annual turnover of 1 million rand or more is required. Terms and conditions apply.
The champ is here! The champ is here! The champ
afternoon and welcome to Bull Market Stock Show. This is your host, Rian Option, and we're doing the Nasdaq. Now, for the last part of the Nasdaq, I can tell you now the Nasdaq will be actually the most difficult one to trade with. Because you will have some people pull it up and then some people pull it down. Because obviously, if the Europeans and people in the United States maybe panic about the whole COVID story and go in for a harder lockdown, although it starts there in Germany with the bars and the restaurants that needs to be closed. Afterwards, it looks more that they target the young people. I'm sure definitely Emmanuel Macron will also go in with a soft restrictions. We already know that Spain went into a state of emergency and went in with a hard lockdown with curfews, everything, a fully fledged, as the Spanish was saying, a fully fledged hard lockdown. The British also go in with a fully fledged lockdown. Now, if that continues, there will be pressure on Amazon to go up, the buying pressure on Amazon and those the online companies basically. And then you have the U.S. elections with its uncertainty. So it's difficult to trade with the Nasdaq. He will be the most difficult one to trade with. The one I would say which will be fairly easy to trade with is surely the Dow Jones if I need to put the equities out. The Dow will be surely easier to trade, but not the Nasdaq. The Dow will go down because of the restrictions of the lockdown and also the uncertainty of the elections of the United States. So the Dow Jones is easy to trade with, but not the Nasdaq, because the lockdown plays in favor of the Nasdaq, but the U.S. elections have a negative impact. So you will have some serious mood swings in the Nasdaq. But with the Dow Jones, it will be flat out down. Now, for me personally, as I've been saying all the time, the best thing is to trade with the United States dollar if you are really uncertain and don't know what to do. Because there's two threats to the market, which is COVID, and then you have the U.S. elections. So the market is not sure which way they go. So basically I would say your smart money and your old money and your guys that understand the market will rather go into your safe haven, which is the US dollar, just to sit and wait what will be the outcome of the US elections and also the second wave that erupts. Now, statements like what Dr. Tedros just made, it actually scares me a bit because obviously there will be some pressure on countries to go into a hard lockdown. And that is actually what the Swedish warned us in the beginning of this year, and everybody or most people, most governments, including the World Health Organization, criticized actually the Swedish when it comes to herd immunity. Now, look how far the Swedish have come. Basically, one death. The day before, there was nothing. Even though the infection rate is increasing, the death rate is literally zero. So they are doing a remarkable job where the rest of the world is still under lockdown. So the thing is with the Nasdaq and the Dow, don't forget that the Nasdaq, there will be some volatility in the Nasdaq, but in the Dow it will be straight down. So you will see red in the Nasdaq, but not to the extent to the Dow Jones. On the commodity side, I saw actually a increase in stockpiles when it gets to oil. So your oil price will definitely go down because of the problems in Europe. And obviously, most oil producers are actually in or basically sits with uncertain times because this time of the year, especially in Europe and the United States, or I would say the Northern Hemisphere, they prepare to pump more oil out because of the high demand of oil for the Northern Hemisphere people. Because during the winter, they import a lot of oil, and the demand for oil increases because of the cold winter. So your gas prices is also now under pressure. But I think the gas prices may increase because people need to stay at home. But your oil prices will be a bit all over the show. I think oil price will definitely go down because people will travel less, or people can't travel at all because of government regulations. So the oil price will definitely go down, and I think the stockpiles will just increase. I will not be surprised if it goes to $10 or $20 a barrel. Last time we saw negative territory of oil. Gold will definitely go down because we all know now with a hard lockdown, inflation is actually going down. So gold and inflation is normally in the same line. And there's enough evidence to say that the madness of the central banks does not create inflation, especially in northern hemisphere countries, or I would say your first world countries. So the notion that we had at the beginning of this year, because we are not sure with the wording what the central banks used across the world, that was now unlimited QE and the words that the ECB also used. So because of those words of unlimited QE, especially from the Federal Reserve, people went in and buy gold because we are not sure the money that is going that way and how will be and what will be the side effects of it. And normally what we know, a lot of money creates inflation. So we have enough evidence to say today that even though if they come with a unlimited part 2, that we will still get no inflation, because there is evidence that can state that. Now, the problem also with gold is the second stimulus problem. There's no second stimulus. So I think, and also Nancy Pelosi was stating yesterday that it is highly unlikely to get a deal done before the elections. So a second stimulus is not coming. So that will apply more pressure on oil and gold. And I think that's where I can say with a free mind that the gold price will definitely go down. On the other side, which I'm in favor with, is the dollar. Because of the low inflation and low oil prices, normally the dollar moves in the opposite direction of your commodities. So the dollar actually has the potential to go up. One, the low commodity prices, also the stimulus that is not there, the uncertainty of the elections, that all plays in favor with the safe havens, which is now the US dollar, Japanese yen, and also the Swiss franc. But please, if you're a forex trader, I would not advise to trade your safe havens with safe havens. It's better if you trade safe havens with commodity currencies, that it works much better out. But I personally, I'm more in favor of the United States dollar. So I would rather stay with the dollar with the different uncertainties that are facing the world today. But I'm not sure, will the world go into a hard lockdown again? I'm really not sure, but with the words of Dr. Tedros, what happened the last time, he did just talk about a hard lockdown and then the world went into it. I hope the countries will wake up to this madness and say no to this madness of Dr. Tedros and the World Health Organization. Because going into a hard lockdown, we all know what was the result of the first lockdown. And you can just imagine what will be the results of the second lockdown. It will just become worse. And what is sad is that these guys flip-flop when it gets to lockdowns. The one is saying they must not use a lockdown to contain the virus because it doesn't work. The World Health Organization did release a paper like that. And now they are talking about a harder lockdown. What do these guys want? Dr. Tedros and Mike Ryan is literally destroying the credibility of the World Health Organization. And I think countries must really consider of defunding the World Health Organization like what Donald Trump did. I think that is the best option so that they can change the top structure of the World Health Organization, especially to get rid of Dr. Mike Ryan and also to get rid of Dr. Tedros. But for the Nasdaq, just for the last part, please be very careful on Nasdaq. It will be the most difficult one to trade with because of two reasons, which is one, is the uncertainty of the elections will definitely push the Nasdaq down, and two, a hard lockdown or as it seems that we will get to a hard lockdown in Europe and other parts of the world, that might lift up the Nasdaq because it trades on tech shares. So that is it from my side for today. I hope you guys enjoyed today's show. And just lastly, there will be a webinar on CapEx regarding the U.S. elections. Two of the good specialists and analysts will actually do the webinar. The webinar will be at 6:30 South African time. 6:30 South African time. So I will actually share the link on my social media pages and also on my WhatsApp. So the webinar will be surrounding the whole U.S. elections, because obviously there's a lot of money to be made there, but also a lot of money to be losing. So you can actually make money in that time. So that's why they will talk about the U.S. elections on Monday at 6:30. But that is it from my side. I hope you guys enjoyed today's show. I will definitely be here at the same time at 1 o'clock. Bye-bye.
The champ is here! The champ is here! The champ is here!